Hello! Today I'm going to showcase my deep iridescent multichromes from Clionadh. They're described as multichrome eyeshadows that have a tan base with bright color shifting reflex. They have a silky texture and a luminous finish. They created this with medium to deep skin tones in mind. The cheapest shade in here is around $7 and the most expensive is around $16. These are some of my favorite formulas from them because back in the day, black base multichromes were all the rage, and these had that shiftiness but were easier to wear, and you can transform them depending on the base you use. But enough talking, let's just get into the swatches. So starting with the bang, this is Birthday, a medium cool tone base that shifts emerald, turquoise, purple, and pink. This one shifts very easily from that green to pink. The texture in this one is very smooth and quite reflective, as you can see. Swatching it out, you can appreciate how vibrant that emerald is. Also, I gotta say, in real life, I've never seen that turquoise that you see in there show up because it always goes from that emerald to pink. It's like it switches so fast between those two. Here you can see the base is quite dark, but not enough to be a black base. The description says this can be used as highlighters in deep skin tones, and I wonder if anyone has ever used them like that because it would look pretty cool. Next, here's Vermilion, described as a light, warm tone base that shifts pink, orange, gold, and lime. Most of those shifts are already showing up even in the pan. The texture on this one is again very smooth and opaque. And here it is swatched out. Again, the colors in here are very vibrant, as you can see. There's a tanned base. I don't know if you can tell, but all of these shades have a very finely milled sparkle, so it's going to contribute to the luminosity of the shades. It's not going to make them appear sparkly, but rather smooth and reflective. Next is gonna be Ocher, a light warm tan base that shifts warm gold, lime, turquoise. At first glance, you could believe this is just another gold, but it's so much prettier than just that. This one is quite opaque and, as always, very reflective and smooth, and with that darker base coming through. The warm base really makes these colors pop quite a lot. And here swatched out, you can see how it dances from all the levels of gold. It goes from a warm gold to the lime all the way to that turquoise. And next, here's Burnt Sienna, a light warm tan base that shifts hot orange, gold, and lime. This is a shade of orange that I don't see that often in makeup. It's not yellow and it's not red leaning, so it's very special. As always, this shade is smooth and reflective. Here's the swatch so you can see all the shifts together. The second shift in this one is very close to the first, so it looks a bit less shifty than the others. It looks like that hot orange going to the lime. Up next, this is Azure, a medium cool tan base that shifts teal, blue, and purple. I don't know if you can already tell, but this one is different from the others. It's a little bit less reflective, and the tones are quite muted in comparison to the others. So swatched out, you can see it's quite shifty, and even though here it looks as reflective, I'm going to swatch it together with the others so you can see the difference in reflectiveness. This one is one of the cheapest. It's just under $9 while the others are around $15. So it really makes sense why this feels different than the rest. This is cerulean, which is described as a top base with aqua, indigo, and pink shifts. The previous 5 shades were the first deep iridescents from the brand. The next 3 are part of the expansion that came later. And we're back to the same old formula. Very smooth, very finely milled, and reflective. Once it is swatched out, it reminds me a lot of the color of Azure, and I think they redid this exactly because they knew the past one wasn't as good as the rest. but of course it's more expensive, so keep that in mind. Next, here's Viridian, a top base with green, blue, indigo and red shifts. Even though this shade has a lot of shifts, they're quite difficult to find, like for a while I thought this one didn't shift at all. The texture is smooth, but it reminds me a lot of azures, so even though the color is different, they probably have a component in common. Here it is swatched out, and you can see when it comes to the color, it's less shifty and also less impactful than the others. It's the most subtle of this whole collection, and it's also the cheapest as it costs $7.46. This is not my favorite shade by any means, but it's still a good color, and it helps me a lot when I'm trying to dupe like luxury stuff, because this is the kind of color that I think they use a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but they love muted colors over there, so it has a use in my collection. And lastly, this is Citron, described as a cool top base with chartreuse, lime and aqua shifts. Again, this one is from the expansion, and it's probably my favorite from that expansion. As always, you can appreciate how reflective and smooth these shades are on the finger swatch. And you can see just how intense that chartreuse shade is on the hand swatch. It's a very cool shift. And as always, this is a very smooth shade, so it's not going to sparkle. I know many people are all about the sparkle, but I can appreciate when a shade is just this intensively reflective, because it kind of glows on the skin. Now I'm going to rank this, and Azure is going to be last just because Cerulean is this but better. Next, I'm going to place Viridian here just because it's that same formula that is less reflective like Azure, but I like the color on this one better. Next, I'm going to give it to Cerulean because it's that more reflective formula, but I don't reach for this color as much as the others lately. Next is gonna be Burnt Sienna because this color is so unique to my collection. I have nothing like this, but I don't reach for it nearly as much, and maybe that will change now that it's going to be autumn. Next, I'm going to place Ocher here just because it's one of my favorite golds in my collection. It's like very smooth and shifty while still being a gold. I'm going to place Birthday on third place because it was in my very first order from Clionadh, and I just couldn't get over how it shifted from green to pink. It was like mind-blowing. On second place, I'm going to give it to Citron because I just love this color and it's the most intense out of all of this. Which means Vermilion is gonna get the first place. This one was on my very first order from Clionadh, and it was my most used shade for a good well. I know this is quite dupeable now, but back then this was the only shade like that I knew. These are all just my experiences and personal preferences talking. I hope seeing these swatches is helping you to decide which one you like the best, or just to realize if you already have something like this in your collection. As I've said, Clionadh is one of the brands that I buy the most from, and it's one that introduced me to a lot of colors, so I know right now many brands have these. I think it's interesting how now Clionadh has light multichromes, and I'm going to get some of those during the sale tomorrow. Are you shopping the sale? Let me know if you have any favorites that I should try, or if there's any that you'd like me to swatch for you. If I have the shade and I have the time, I could, upload a little video to let you know how it looks. But that'll be all for me for now. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!